Hi, I'm Paul. Welcome to practice today. We're going to do some hip openers, one of my favorite categories of poses for grounding down and for calming the nervous system and the mind. You won't need any props for practice today, but when you sit on the floor, if you tend to round back, if you're tighter in the hips, it can be useful to have a blanket to sit on. This one's going to be deep stretch and feel good all the way. I'm so glad you're here. Let's do it. We'll warm up with windshield wipers, so just find a seat on the ground and separate your feet about mat distance apart. I mean, just going side to side, hands on the floor behind you, bringing your knees over to the right and then over to the left. So warming and loosening things up, back and forth. Now you could do this with your hands off the floor as well, but it's more intense. And this is an all levels practice, so I want you to meet yourself as you are and do what feels best for you for our practice. And I'll always offer steps and modifications when needed. Just connect to your breath. That's another part of our yoga practice, right? How to calm the nervous system and the mind. It's that connection to breath in and out through the nose. One more time, each direction. And then we'll come on to all fours. Placing hands under the shoulders and knees under the hips. Let's open the right leg to the side, so this will further warm up the hip. And then from here, stretch your leg straight off to the side. Then bend the knee and bring your knee back to the floor. 2 more times, just like that. Inhaling, open the right hip, stretch the leg to the side, bend the knee, bring it back to the floor. 1 more time. Inhale to open, exhale, stretch the leg. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, knee down to the left. Inhaling, lift the left leg. Exhale, stretch the leg. Inhale, bend the knee. Knee to the floor. 2 more times. Inhale, open. Exhale, stretch. Inhale, bend. Exhale, knee to the floor. Inhale, open. Exhale, stretch the leg straight. Inhale, bend. Exhale, knee to the floor. Now walk your hands forward of your shoulders a few inches, preparing for downward dog. Melt your chest and lift your knees as you stretch up and back. Bend a knee, straighten the other leg. Let's loosen up. As you bend one knee, the opposite leg, you're working the heel towards the ground. And then let's find a steady downward dog. Now, if your hamstring muscles are tighter and you're rounding in your low back, you want to bend your knees more, lift your shoulders a bit, and lift your tailbone towards the sky. And then you can start to root your inner thighs back. But if you find that it causes your low back to round, it can be helpful to keep the knees bent. Right? We're trying to have a natural curve to the low back. With your inhale, lift your right leg in the air. Bend your knees, you turn your hip open. Let's do some hip circles. There's big circles at a pace that feels good for you. I'm going pretty slowly here, but not too slowly, just slowly enough. Reverse directions. And stretch the right leg straight back. And exhale, step through to lunge. Lower your back knee to the floor. We'll rise up for cactus-armed Anjaneyasana. So bend your elbows, lift through your side body. Think waistline through armpits, big lift. Shoulders draw back, hands press back, gaze lifts up towards the sky. It's a few deep breaths here, working into the hip flexor muscles. If you're familiar with Ujjayi breath, you just hear the sound of your breath. Otherwise, we're breathing in and out through the nose. The yoga practice invites us to become aware of all the parts. What we're feeling, what we're stretching, how we're breathing, what we're paying attention to. Inhale and rise up. Let's bring both hands to the floor on the inside of the front foot. Then turn your right foot out about 45 degrees and come towards the outer foot, like a pigeon foot. Flex your toes, so pulling the toes back, especially the outer side, the pinky toe side of the foot, will help to stabilize the knee joint. You can move a little bit side to side here. And then stay like this or lift your back leg off of the floor. And then stay like this, or if you're ready for it, you could bring elbows to the floor or a block for a lizard variation. Just moving around a little bit, trying to get some opening to the external rotators on the right side. Although there are many places where you might feel this, including on the left side, especially with knee lifted. You might feel hip flexors. Relax your face. Inhale and rise up. And now let's press back to downward diggity dog. Second side, lift your left leg, bend your knee, turn your hip open, and we'll do some circles. Press through your arms, press the floor away. And reverse directions. Stretch the left leg straight up in the air. Exhale, step through the lunge, back knee to the floor. Anjaneyas, cactus arms. Side body lifts, shoulders back, hands press back. Sink into the front leg, left buttock reaching for the left heel. Soft jaw, soft eyes. You can create some tone by pressing the left foot and right knee into the earth and drawing them towards each other. So not only does this protect us when we stretch, but it helps fire things up. Right? In these shorter practices, we want to heat up quickly in the most optimal of ways. Inhale and rise. Hands to the floor on the inside of the front foot. Turn your left foot out 45. Come onto the outer edge of the foot. Flex your toes. Moving around a little bit side to side. Feel free to lift the back leg off the floor. Feel free to bring elbows to the floor. See what's here for you today. How's your body feeling? No attachment, no clinging to it needing to be any way other than it is, right? We meet the moment as it is. Sometimes we feel really vibrant and bright. Sometimes we feel tight or we have an injury. So meet yourself as you are. Inhale and rise. Let's step forward, standing forward fold. Because when we're not able to meet ourselves as we are, then we suffer. Right? Because we're wanting it to be a different way. We're not able to just be in this place of acceptance. Sometimes that's really hard to do. Lift and spread your toes. Lift the arches of your feet. Ground through your legs as you lift your seat towards the sky. You can always bend the knees if necessary, if your hamstring muscles are tighter. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale and bow. We're going to go 3 times from this forward fold into a squat. You can always lift your heels for a squat, and you could always turn your toes out when you squat. Take a breath in. Exhale, come into a squat, hands off the floor. Inhale, stretch legs straight. Exhale, come into a squat. Inhale, legs straight. Exhale and squat. Let's hold the squat. Now we'll do some internal, external rotation with the legs. If you need to lift your heels and even put hands down, you can do so. So you're going this way and then come into the outer foot. You could do this with hands off the floor. You could do it with heels down. And we go internal with the right, external with the right. Internal left, external left. 2 more each side. Right, external, left. External, coming on the outer foot. Right, open it, left, open it. Good, have a seat. Seated figure 4, left ankle crossing just above the right knee. Walk your hands in. The more you walk your hands in and the more you walk your front foot back, the more intense the stretch. Now the outer left foot, that's what we want to focus on. Draw the outer edge of the foot back. That keeps the foot from sickling and that protects the knee joint. Lift through the heart, and as you walk your hands forward, right, reach your chest towards your left shin. With your right knee, it's like you're pulling your left ankle towards your chest at the same time. Create some space here, and this is one of those postures where a blanket can be useful if you're really rounded back. You could also adjust the posture, walking the foot forward and the hands back. A couple more breaths here, in and out through the nose. From here, baby cradle. Stretch the right leg out. With the hands, you can hold on to the right ankle and the left shin. Maybe this is where you need to be for today. If you're able to, you'll wrap your arms around the shin. Now the key here again is no sickle to the foot. Draw the outer foot back. Lift up and out of the waistline, so creating space in your upper body. Low back moves in and up. Relax your face. You could hold steady here. You could rock the baby a little bit. Whatever's going to make the baby happy today. I spent many a time rocking my babies when they were babies. Sometimes it helped, sometimes not so much. All right, exhale. Let's go for figure 4 again. So left ankle just above the right knee. And from here, we're going to fold forward. If you're tighter in the hamstring and your back, you could sit up on a blanket. You could walk your hands forward, or maybe even keep your hands on the floor behind you. And if you're able to, you bow, reaching your hands way out in front. Just feel your breath. Inhale and rise, and we'll switch legs. Right ankle just above left knee. Find your seated figure 4. Activate the foot. Draw the outer edge of the foot back. Hands walk forward. Spread your toes and resist the right knee towards the front of the mat as you lift and lengthen through the spine. So you want your face to be relaxed, right? Sometimes we go into, there's a lot of poses, but hip openers for sure, where we push ourselves really hard and then we tense and we tighten. It's just, can you find a place of real, intensity is challenging and at the same time still be soft, this balance of effort and ease. Sukham means good space. We want to be in a good space physically, right? And that'll translate as to how the expression we're holding in the posture. Good. Exhale. Let's stretch the leg out and we'll come into our baby cradle. And I've had to learn through the years. I've had many times in practice where Summer's looked over at me and she's been like, your face is really clenched up. So, especially in hip openers. Draw the outer foot back. So I think about it a lot. I keep that as part of my dharana or my focus in practice. Right? Can I go to my edge and still be soft? Find to ease, sukham, that good space. Lift the foot higher. Now, the more you pull your foot in towards your body, the more intense the stretch, but also more likely to sickle. So keep drawing the outer foot back. And then we'll exhale and place the foot up on the right knee, just above the knee. Active foot, pull your seat back and apart, and then fold forward, walking your hands out. Deep breath. One more full breath here. Inhale and rise up. Let's go Gomukhasana, left leg on top. So right knee bends, left leg crosses over. If this is too tricky for you, you could always do it with the ankle up on the knee, or you could always go to simple cross-legged fold with left shin in front. But if you're able to, you're crossing the legs, and the more you bring your shins parallel to the front of the mat, the more intense the stretch. Activate your feet, flex your toes, and let's bow forward. Left hip pulls back, it tacks back. And this is a pose that a blanket can be helpful with. If you're struggling to get any movement forward, you could also sit more upright, hands on the floor behind you. Try to pull up and out of the waistline. It's a long spine. Inhale and rise. Let's go for a side bend. Walk your right hand over to the right. Maybe bring right elbow to the floor. Maybe elbow stays off the floor. And the left arm alongside the ear. And then look under your left arm towards the sky. The left buttock will be lifted, but try to tack it down towards the ground. And that will help increase the stretch. Inhale and rise up, and we'll jump switch the legs. So right leg on top. If you've been in class with me before, you know I like to jump switch, even though it might technically not be a jump switch. All right, maybe bring shins more forward, more parallel to the front of the mat. Widen your left seat to the left. So you can just kind of lift up, widen it, sit down, and then pull over. And that's going to help you to tip your pelvis forward. Lengthening through the spine. Active feet. Right hip pulls back. Deepen your breath. Inhale and rise. We'll go for the side stretch. Walk your left hand over to the left. Maybe elbow to floor, maybe not. Look under the right arm. Tack your right buttock down towards the ground. Extend from your right hip through your right knee. So the more you use your body to extend and lengthen, the more stretch you'll feel. Inhale and rise. All right, what better way to close out our practice of hip opening than with Pigeon, also known as Pigeon. Left leg forward for Pigeon prep. Now, Pigeon prep's not accessible, not available to you today. Seated figure 4 again, or that simple cross-legged forward fold. One of those two postures. The more you bring your shin parallel to the front of the mat, the more intense the stretch. If you need, you can always pull the foot back. And ideally here, our hip points are level. We're not sitting down on the left side. Okay, you can stay upright like this. You could bring elbows to the floor. Check your back leg out. Make sure your back leg is parallel to the sides of the mat. Toes could be tucked or pointed. And we'll create some tone here as we stretch. So pull the right hip forward and the left hip back. Scissor the hips. If you want to go into a twist, you could bring your left elbow either in front of the foot or your left elbow just to the floor inside of the foot to twist. I love this stretch. And I always say there's never a bad time for a twist. Draw the right shoulder back as you look over the shoulder. Good. Exhale and release. Take your time. We'll switch sides. Right leg forward. Pigeon. Find the depth for you. I like to fold forward and then use my left hand to pull the foot further forward. Scissoring the hips. Draw your left hip forward and your right hip back, and you feel the tone in the hips as you do that. So strengthening and stretching, finding that balance here. If you want to twist, feel free to bring your elbow to the floor and look over your left shoulder. One more breath. With your inhale, slowly release. Let's press back to downward dog. Feel your down dog at the end of practice. Notice the change the shifts that have happened since the earlier down dog. Rooting inner thighs back. So opening our hips can really help to open up the whole body, especially through even the hamstring muscles. Helps us to root our thigh bones back. Exhale, bring your knees to the floor, and we'll come into Shavasana. Never skipping Shavasana, especially after a hip opening practice. Pull your knees in towards your chest. Just give yourself a final hug. And then stretch your legs out. Just grateful for this time on the mat today. What a gift. Turn your palms up towards the sky. Feel your energy calming and grounding as you let go here, these final moments. I'll leave you here in Shavasana. Please stay a while. Enjoy this time for yourself. I hope you enjoyed practice. Be sure to like the class, leave some comments. We'd love to hear from you. And subscribe to the channel. Never miss one of the 3 classes we add each week. Always grateful to be on the mat with you. Thank you for showing up. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.